Hi guys, so this week I had a request for burgers, so naturally I jumped at the chance and I thought I'd do 4 different meats. This first one is a pack of sausage meat. It's very versatile, and to make it a little bit more flavoursome I add some of my own dried sage that I grow myself, but to be honest you can add any. And you could also actually use a little bit of dried sage and onion stuffing. What you're really looking for is a mixture that comes together naturally, but you don't want it to end up too dry or so moist that it's falling apart, and it's getting this balance, and that's just practice. But be assured that whatever you make will be delicious and yummy, and even if a burger broke a bit while you were cooking it, once it's in the bun, who knows? The second burger I'm making is a steak burger, and I'm adding a little bit of Montreal steak seasoning here. I have this in, I think you can buy it on Amazon, but to be honest you could just use a simple salt and black pepper for seasoning if you wish. For my third one I'm going to use lamb, and I'm going classic. I'm making minted lamb burgers. I actually use a spoon of mint sauce in this. It's rare that I add anything liquid to a burger because it doesn't help, but in this case it adds a little piquancy. And then I did chop up a little bit of the mint, the fresh mint that grows in my garden, and it just gives it that nice freshness and the odd little fleck of a bright green colour. Last but definitely not least is turkey mince. It's low in fat, very healthy for you, and can be absolutely delicious in a burger. Season simply with some salt, pepper, some minced dried onions, some garlic salt and some Italian herbs. I actually add a spoonful of instant mashed potato to turkey. It's just the right amount to bind the turkey meat, which can be a bit moist and soft together properly. I'd rather just use 1 teaspoon of potato than use wheat flour and eggs and many other things I've heard people using. I've never found a need for them, and my burgers seem to always hold together and have a nice texture and a nice bite, so it's a method I stick with. So to recap, a good burger is all about quality meat, the balance between the moisture and the seasoning, and you can play about to your heart's content with this until you find the one that's just right for you and your family. And as you can see, all my burgers are now mixed together in bowls and they're all holding together perfectly fine. So it's time now to put the first one to cook. I cook them on a George. I think it's the best, cleanest, most efficient way. They cook in a minute to 2 minutes at most. And when I'd finished doing all this cooking session, it took me less than 5 minutes to clean the George like back to new. So it's quite efficient on time saving too. So the first burger I've put in is a sausage burger. I'm going to make a sausage and egg muffin. So I've got my dairy free cheese, and I just slice a slice off through the wrapper, and this way it holds it firm and opens the wrapper for you, and you get a nice even slice. So these breads that I'm using, I did actually bake these breads just before making this video, but you can use any bread you wanted. It just happened that I was wanting to bake the breads this morning. And truthfully, the advantage to making your own bread is that you can make them any size you want, shapes you want, and they cost very little to make, and you make them as and when you need them, so they're probably still warm from the oven when you see me making them into the burgers, and that does make them delicious. And there we are, first burger made. And I do hope you found that straightforward. And just to mention, you can of course shallow fry these burgers, grill them, even put them in the oven. Whichever method you've got available to you and that you feel comfortable using. With this steak burger, I like to put burger sauce in between 2 layers and seal it up. It helps with the cooking times. All the flavours from the sauce get released. It's a lovely aroma, and the burger's much softer and better to bite through than a big solid lump of beef. I make 2 beef patties, one slightly bigger than the other, which is for the bottom, because you're going to be pinching upwards around the sides to seal it. And you seal it by literally using 2 fingers and pinching it together. And same method as you would use on a pie crust, the same sort of pinching, but anyone you can do, as long as you try and seal in the lovely burger sauce. Then it's time to get it onto the grill, and it only takes a couple of minutes to cook, and in that time you've just got nice time to get your bread bun and any salad or condiments that you're adding ready for it. I like the burger to do the talking, so I tend to keep things that I add to it simple and few. So some light salad, occasionally the odd condiment, but nothing too severe. I don't want it to swamp the flavour of the burger. After carefully slicing this bread bun, it's time to turn to my trusty prepared box of salad. Every week when I buy fresh salad ingredients, I spend 10 minutes chopping and preparing the salad, and then I seal it in a plastic container with a good strong lid, and I pop it in the fridge. And for times like this, it's indispensable. I can focus on the burgers and the salad's already prepared. I never get a burger burning because while I'm chopping up salad. It's easy and orderly, and it stops panic and it stops you rushing. So I highly recommend that as a technique. Oh, and also worth noting, salad keeps much fresher chopped up in this box than it ever does whole just in your salad crisper. Don't exactly know the science behind it and why, but I know that it's true and it works. It will keep well over a week. So I think I've kept this steak burger quite classic. I've got cheese which I'll be toasting shortly, and I've put a couple of rings of mushroom to cook with it on top of the steak burger. But as to salad, I've just gone lettuce, cucumber, tomato and a little bit of red onion. No extra condiments. The steak burger is lovely and juicy, and it already has its burger sauce in the middle. And this is another aspect of using a George to make the burgers that I actually think is really useful. And that is I can pop the bread with the cheese on the George, and it will melt the cheese and slightly toast it, and also the bread, which obviously puts warmth back through the whole burger and makes it quite succulent and delicious. So there we have it, our steak and cheeseburger. What do you think? It'd be interesting to know what your favourite burger was before you watched this, and whether any of these have influenced you to change. Right, on to the minted lamb burger. I've put a patty of the lamb burger meat into the George, and whilst that's cooking, which won't take very long, I've opened up one of the bread cakes. Again, I'm picking salad that'll enhance and freshen up the burger, but I don't want it to overpower it. So I've picked a full lettuce leaf rather than shredded this time. And I like that to form just the bread bun shape. This is partly because I do intend to add a spoon of mint sauce. and if it's shredded lettuce, then the mint sauce can pass through the gaps between the shreds and soggy the bread, whereas this way the lettuce forms a barrier. And so this is all part of the decision making on what you actually include. And as you can see, I've just gone classic again: tomatoes, cucumber, red onion and some mint sauce. And you could see how steaming hot and still moist and juicy that patty was. So with the top popped on and the stick to hold it all together, here we are, burger number 3. I did make this little sauce of, it's just plain yogurt and some mint sauce in it. And then when it's served with fries, you may like to dip fries in it. Even if they found the patty was not quite moist enough for you, you could always add a little bit to it and it just looks nice. So the next one is the turkey burger. For this turkey burger, I've popped in the turkey patty and then a couple of slices of mushroom to go with it. I'm using a lovely granary roll for this. I just find that the turkey suits the granary bread. It's a personal thing. You can put it in any bread. I just think it goes well with it. So I'm popping some shredded lettuce on, and this will form my basis for my salad. But this time I'm adding some low-calorie mayonnaise. Mayonnaise and turkey and granary bread, natural bedfellows. So you know when you do this, you'll have a guaranteed flavour match. And then I decided to take some little snippets of the spring onion stalk. The stalks have a much milder onion flavour and so won't overpower the turkey burger. Turkey meat is a little mild in flavour, and so you need to be aware of this and not overwhelm it. They also had a nice little crunchy green element to the burger. And here we are, the burger's cooked already. It's a lovely golden colour with those griddle marks. It looks beautiful. I'm actually turning it over to lie the mushrooms as a layer on top. And look at the steam coming off it. They're piping hot. And nobody really wants a cold burger, do they? They're much nicer when they're steaming hot and all the flavours are being released and they smell absolutely gorgeous. And it's the bite between the hot meat and that lovely cold crisp salad that is part of the joy and the pleasure of a burger. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed watching those burgers being made, and I hope you've gained some tips or ideas or just some inspiration as to making your own, because they are the perfect summer food, aren't they? However, I had some meat left over, and here's a bit of fun for the kids. I baked these mini burger buns this morning, and I thought I'll make some mini kid-sized burgers that are easy to pick up and eat and just nice on a plate to share, really. So here we are. I've cut them open and I'm now adding some very simple bits of salad, because not always, but very often children are not fond of the strongest flavoured things, and so I try to keep it simple but sneaking a bit of healthy veg and nutrition in there. So some have lettuce, cucumber or tomatoes on, and then there's just these tiny little patties of burger. They must have only taken me around less than a minute to cook. Making these little breads was one of the reasons I made the bread this morning myself instead of using shop bought, because I can of course make them to whatever size I want, and here's an example of that. I think they look so cute. Right, well, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And here's some pictures of the finished item. And for my youngest and #1 fan, George, here's one specially for you.